I really do believe that healing is a process. It's not a destination, So what do I mean when I say that? It's not like you're healed or not. Like I really don't feel as though that's an end state.
That's why we titled this Evolve Ventures, because it is an adventure you are going to take for the rest of your life of transforming, of growth, of becoming better and doing better. Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And this is Emilia.
Welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth-minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, 196, one big myth about feelings. For today, number 197, Motivation Monday, the truth about healing. If you clicked on this episode, you probably are someone who has been in your healing journey, or you're just getting started, or you've been doing it for a while and you probably haven't been making the progress you've wanted. Like, you're probably not feeling the way you want to, or feeling the way you thought you were going to. And what we intend on talking about in this episode is, why is that? What is the truth about what this experience is, and why is it so important to do it anyways? I've been working as a coach and a clinician for 5 years now. It's crazy to say that. It's been that long. Oh my God. I've been doing one-on-ones for 5 years now, and what I've really come to notice with almost everybody that I see, and honestly, this is something that I did in the beginning too, so I know this from personal experience. When we all are in the beginning of our journey, we are looking for the easiest and most painless path to growth, to learning, to healing, to recovery. And when I get clients and when I get new clients, typically I ask them, what have you done in the past? What are some of the things that you've tried doing? What are the things that you're currently doing? Tell me a little bit about what this journey has looked like for you. And a lot of what they tell me is, well, I've been watching, motivational videos, and I bought a journal, and I've been doing some meditation, and I do, me care. So I'll do bath bombs, or I go for walks and whatever. And those are all really beautiful little tools. But here's the thing, and I really want everyone to hear this. Those things in and of themselves are not going to heal you. Those things are these little supplemental things that you can add on, but that is not going to help you heal. What is going to help you heal, and we've talked about this so many times before on the show, so we're not going to dive super deep into this, but it's really going deep to the root. It's about taking away all of the muck and all of the dirt and all of the facades, right? How many of us have all of these little things that we do to make ourselves look better and feel better and whatever? But it's when you can wipe the mirror clean and just look at yourself for where you are and who you are. And you can do what we talked about in another episode, which is really asking, how did I get here? How did I get to this point? Why am I the way that I am? It's in doing that and putting in the work in that healing really happens.
From my perspective, I really believe that the inner work, the deep work, the getting to the root, the mother root is what I call it. As a gardener, I do believe that is the most effective path when it comes to this concept of healing. And first and foremost, I want to share my personal belief system so that you, as our beautiful listener, can connect on this or not, or take it how you will. But I really do believe that healing is a process. It's not a destination, you know? So what do I mean when I say that? It's not like you're healed or not. Like I really don't feel as though that's an end state, though that is and can be really powerful as a goal. Like I want to heal on after a breakup. Like that is a beautiful goal. And I think that can motivate, inspire, discipline you to endeavor or venture into a journey that you haven't been through prior to that thought process. However, it's just like it's something that you will continuously pursue, that it brings so many fruits back to your journey and lessons to your life that I do believe wouldn't happen if you didn't have that pursuit in the first place. Like, and I kind of connect it to, like, I have a scar on my shin, and unfortunately, like, it was one of those things where I was doing box squats at the gym on one of those like platforms with the elephant.
No.
Like the elephants like step up on in like the circus. That's kind of what it looks like. But I'm doing box jumps and I ended up scraping my shin, and it was so bad. And I'm not going to go into those details for anyone that like
no, thank you,
gets squirmish or squeamish. But like, I have a beautiful scar on my shin now. And like, here's the thing, the process of the healing was ultimately like the goal, because of what I learned about myself and healing and taking care of myself and all of the inner work that I had to navigate and work through just for that one scar to actually take place. And now it's transformed into almost looking very much like the rest of my skin, but yet like what had happened and what I experienced, that emotional scar is still there. Right. And so like, that's not ever fully healed, but now I have a different perspective of that experience and our emotions and what we go through and what happens to us. I do believe it's a very similar parallel process. And I think the truth from my perspective around this concept of healing is that it's not an end state goal, but if you look at it as such, it can bring you so much value to the pursuit that you endeavor upon as you drive forward to achieve it, quote unquote. So it's like one of those things where it's like chicken or the egg, healing versus the chase. You know, it's kind of like one of those things. But I do believe that so many of us benefit in that pursuit because of what we learned about ourselves.
It's genuinely the greatest gift you can ever give to yourself, is to really sit there and look in the mirror and be like, damn. Like, the truth is, it sucks in the moment, but there will come a time, and I'm noticing this with myself too. So I'm very, like, you and I both, we're very much people who have taken the lens and the framework of, this is something I'm going to do forever.
Yeah.
Working on myself, healing myself, working through whatever muck and crap comes up for me. We've made the conscious choice that this is going to be something we do for the rest of our lives. And I'm noticing changes within myself that the only reason they're happening now is because of choices I made like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Right.
So like, I'm now in a space where my life is so much different than it was even 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I had just gotten out of that relationship, and I'm in my new space, and I'm in my own place for the first time in my life. And I was so clueless. I had no idea who I was anymore. I had no idea what life was going to look like for me. I was scared and lonely and going through all of this stuff. And it's 2 years later, and because of the fact that I was willing to do all of those really scary things, I'm now being called someone who's like a really bright energy, which is something I never ever thought that I would be called. But people are like, being around you lights me up because you're just so happy, or you're just smiling a lot more, or you just look so much better and healthier.
Yeah, energetically.
Yeah, like just energetically, I'm just a lot more open. Like beforehand, someone told me that like my energy was very red. I had this like very, and I still have bits of that, right? But more than anything, I was this very like intense, not sexual, like what's a better word?
I would say sharp.
Yeah, very sharp. Thank you. Very like sharp and like kind of cutthroat. But I wasn't, but that was the energy that I was putting out because of what I was feeling.
Right.
And I knew deep down, like, no, that's not me. Like, yes, there's bits and pieces of that come out when they need to, but I'm more yellow, like very open and bright and even like radiating in a sense. But I didn't feel that. And so I wasn't projecting that because I couldn't, because there was still so much like heaviness. And now it's like, even in these episodes, like you guys probably see me smiling a lot more, or being more open, or being more, what? I know, it's crazy. Or being more just lighthearted. And all of that is a result of decisions and choices that I made 2 years ago. So the compound effect is finally hitting me, and it's starting to work. So here's the thing, and Em, I just cut you off.
No, it's okay. I was just thinking of something. Yeah, I'll pull it in a sec.
Okay. This journey, it is an adventure. That's why we titled this Evolve Ventures, because it is an adventure you are going to take for the rest of your life, of transforming, of growth, of becoming better and doing better, and the feeling better, which is what every single one of us wants. We all want to feel better. That, the beauty and the gift of that is going to come only, and guys, really hear me on this, it is only going to come and really be true and authentic when you are willing to go into the mud and then pull yourself out.
Oh, yeah, it is. And the big breath that you heard me taking earlier was, I have a client in mind right now who has gone through I would say, tumultuous breakup. And it's only tumultuous because of how she has navigated that. And I know we've all been there, and healing and intimate relationships can be so interesting because they bring out so much within us that we didn't realize was there. And that is the challenge of like, not only post breakup are you trying to navigate around the feeling of rejection and the feeling of like it didn't work out, and like kind of the future that you had maybe envisioned with your partner crumble before your eyes, but to that end, you're also realizing like the person that you saw yourself becoming in that journey, that almost feels like it's been taken away from. So there's like a duality with that, of like you individually and you collectively with your partner, right? And so we get we have these feelings of like so much pain that's launched into that. And I find that so many people don't take that as such a beautiful opportunity to really go inwardly and explore and get curious around, what have I like, why is this pain so painful? What does it mean? What is the meaning that I'm assigning to it, to where it's actually it feels so damaging that this has happened, rather than looking at it from a frame of, this is an incredible, which is where she's now. So I'm proud of her because she's evolved in this, and there's all different stages of a breakup. And so like, she's at the point where now she's seeing it as an opportunity to really look at the parts of her that have been so pained, like her pain bodies, looking at those even before the relationship happened. So there was pain bodies that got brought up in childhood with her family, with her friendships, that have kind of carried with her into the relationship, that actually has been one of the byproducts of why she is where she is. And she's now shifting into the mindset of this is a healing journey for me. This is a time for me to actually pause and reflect upon all of those pain bodies that are so hurt, for me to work through that healing process with every single one of them, every bit and piece and part of me that has been so hurt. This relationship has just highlighted, this breakup has just highlighted what a gift, what an opportunity to be able to work through this process of healing, and doing so with my full attention instead of the distraction. So I think that
100%.
healing is a process, and I really do believe it is a gift when we can experience our own pain and when we can get curious about it. There are so many messages in that about ourselves that can allow us the opportunity to be able to explore those territories that otherwise, in the grind of the day, we don't often get on a silver platter saying, hey, this needs a little bit of healing. Honey, this needs healing. We need to heal around this. We need to explore this. And kind of to the earlier analogy, and I'll wrap up on this, where like you can't get to the root without removing some of the dirt, right? And so I'm just imagining for all our visual learners and listeners, like imagine you're like you're at the bottom of a tree and you're like 2 feet away from the trunk and you're trying to dig a hole to get to the like big root, but it's raining, right? So you have mud all around, there's kind of like grass. So if you're digging, you're like, this rain's coming down, every piece of dirt that you're trying to pull away, it's like sliding back in, because at this point there's so much rain that it's just like a mudslide. And you're like, all right, I got a foot down, and I'm talking like it's a big tree. So you're getting down there, and then all of a sudden, boom, what happens? You hit a rock. What do you have to do? You get down on your hands and knees. At this point, you're like fed up the fact that it's raining and all this stuff. You get down on your hands and knees and you pull it out, and all of a sudden this rock has this beautiful line around it, completely perfect. And you just wonder at it and like, how did this rock, first of all, like F you rock, right? Like, why do you have to be in my way to get to the root? But then you pause, because right before you're about to huck it over to the side and get down, because that's the only thing in the way, you wonder at it because it has a perfect line right around it. And it just so happens to symbolize something deep within you. It resonates within you of like, I've been looking at this digging process in a way that doesn't serve me, in a way that doesn't bring gratitude in. And then ironically, after you shift your perspective, after you shift your focus, now the rain, it's not something that you're hating. The rain is actually the gift that's helping you get to what the root is faster. Why? Because it's making the dirt more mud, right? It's making it easier for you. So I believe healing, there's a truth in this, that the way in which you look at the process helps you get to that root. And if you're looking at it from a frame of this is like the worst thing ever, it will feel so much harder to get to those roots than if you look at the analogy of this in your life, when there are rocks in your way, when there's tough emotions that crop up, when there are tough things that happen. How can you look at it from a different perspective that brings in the gratitude along the way? And that's something that, and I just want to share that because that's been something that has really helped me. And I know that it's helped a lot of clients. So my final takeaway for this episode for all of our listeners is to bring back in that visual. Whenever you face a rock, when you're digging, whenever you experience the rain and it pours and it feels like a downpour, and whenever you find the bugs along the way that are a little icky, and, you know, work through that stuff.
Why you gotta bring critters into this? Honestly, this was a beautiful analogy. Until you brought the critters into this.
Well, critters have a purpose too. I'm just saying. Alrighty. My episode suggestion is 185, Motivation Monday. Why are the people in your life? I do believe the frame around how you look at a perspective is solely tied to the people that you have in your life. Your influences help shape the way you look at things. And if you have a ton of people that hate the rain, then likely you're going to hate it too. If you have a ton of people that look at rain and say what I said the other day of like, gosh, aren't we so blessed? There's people that pray for rain every single day because their food relies upon it. Aren't we so lucky to have it? You know, that the people that you surround yourself with will either help or hurt you in this journey of healing.
Well said.
B, over to you.
Well said. 146 Wow, I can't speak. Signs it's time to reach out for help. Guys, here's the thing. The healing journey, it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't. You can make it easier and faster and go more smoothly if you reach out for help. If you're not trying to just like hammer it in all on your own. You don't need to. There's so many resources out there. And that episode really dives into, what are the signs that maybe it is time for you to reach out. Maybe it is time for you to stop trying to do it on your own. So, thank you so much to everybody who's listening. We really hope this episode was helpful, and we will see you next time.
Bye everybody. Everyone.